Hey everybody, Jane here, and today we're going to talk about The Clinic. This is a book that I have an advanced reader copy of. It is going to be available January 2024, and I believe it's January 23rd, 2024, so we're getting there. And this is a mystery thriller. I'm not sure if it's technically a thriller, but a mystery at least, and I think a mystery thriller is probably how they're marketing it.
Pictures and patterns put into words that stream across the page, capturing life as soft spoken.
In this book we have Meg, and she has a substance abuse issue, and she works as security for casinos. We get word, or she gets word, that her sister has passed away at a rehab center where she was trying to get clean and supposedly had a relapse. But based on information Meg is given, she does not feel that that the clinic is being completely honest about what happened to her sister. So, being an addict herself, she decides that she is going to go undercover and find out what happened to her sister and bring whatever that is to light. She goes, and things are very interesting at this clinic. So I'm going to do some spoilery bits later, but I want to tell you kind of initially without spoilers my general thoughts in this book. So one of the challenges that I always have with mystery thrillers is that I have trouble connecting with the main character. And I had that same issue here with Meg. It's a dual point of view with Meg and Kara. Kara is one of the workers at the clinic, and I've already told you who Meg is. Kara wasn't, I don't think, developed enough for me to care about her particularly. And while Meg is a complex character, she's not somebody I felt I could like, and I don't think we're supposed to like her. She's not a character who's written to be likable. So I didn't have a lot of ability to root for anybody. I obviously wanted to find out what happened to her sister. And so I was invested in the mystery part. There are some really interesting, cool side characters, but again, nobody that I was super connecting with. I do think that this has a very healthy, beautiful view on addiction. So the author, there was like an author note in the back about the author having some personal experience that was brought to this book. And I loved that in this book, addiction was framed as basically a not great way of dealing with trauma. And so this clinic's kind of view of things, or what they're trying to do, is bring characters' traumas to light so that the character can deal with the trauma and doesn't have to use their addiction to keep pressing down the trauma and preventing the issue. And we learn that obviously Meg and her sister have had some trauma. And Meg's Meg had a call from her sister that her sister had remembered something prior to her going to the center, and Meg is now trying to kind of figure out what it is. What is this thing that is causing her to have this addiction, and did it in any way affect her sister? I ended up giving this a 3-star. I had some pacing issues with the beginning of it. It took me a lot longer to read than I was hoping to. And then, it's a thriller. It's got twists. The twist that it had, I didn't see coming. But also the twist that I had, I don't necessarily think I liked. This book does a thing that is just not my favorite. It's something we see frequently in mysteries and thrillers, and I just was like, okay. And the author kind of implied to us early that this could be something that was happening, but then when they did, I was like, all right, well. And then the reasons were like, and just a lot of things about the actual reveal of the mystery didn't work for me. I thought they were well done. Okay, I thought that the author did a great job pulling them together, putting all of the pieces in the puzzle together, and laying out, like, I felt like we could come to the conclusion. When all this happened, I didn't feel it was off the rails. I didn't feel it was like ridiculous. I just I didn't I didn't enjoy where things went. I guess is the best way that I can say what my problem with this was. So I didn't think it was a bad book. I think for some people, this will be a mystery thriller you really, really love. And I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. I like to go ahead into some spoilers, including kind of some of the stuff at the end that I had issues with, questions about, things that I just didn't like very well. So if you want to know what this book is about in details and don't mind spoilers, feel free to continue. Otherwise, I would say read the book, come here, and you can see if you felt similarly about it as I did. Okay, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All right, so the first thing this book did that kind of I didn't personally like, and it's a trope that I don't like, is Haley, the sister, is not dead. She has joined she's been undercover, disguised in the clinic as a patient. And so Meg has been with her this whole time, and she's been trying to convince Meg to stop looking around for stuff and to get out, and she's been playing mind games with her sister. So like her sister has been Haley, has been there with Meg the whole time. And I just, that didn't work in my brain. Like, yes, her sister is like an actor and a singer and all this, but could she really convince her sister, even though they've had a falling out, they haven't seen each other in a little bit, but could you really convince your sister that that's not you? And then she has faked her death because the clinic owner, the treatment that they're using to bring these memories to the front and things is a special kind of blowfish poison, and they found that they could use it to create new identities for rich people who want to have their identities changed. And Haley is supposed to be like the guinea pig, the person who the doctor who's working on this treatment is using to get there. And I kind of thought all that was kind of dumb. Just being honest, it wasn't for me. We also initially assume that Haley and Meg's trauma was related to SA as a kid. And that's not what it turns out to be, which is good and fine. But we're told that Haley and Meg basically have had so much trauma that they've become psychopaths or sociopaths. I can't remember which one, but I think it's psychopaths. But these girls, they don't have any emotion, they don't have any feelings, and basically, if my understanding was correct, their trauma is their mommy didn't love them enough. Their mommy was an actress and kind of pushed Haley to do acting stuff, and their mom neglected them a little bit, and maybe a lot. Like, maybe a lot. And then the thing that she keeps remembering that pushed her over the edge is her mom attempted to unalive herself, and Haley found their mom and was like, had to call the ambulance, and like Haley was protecting Meg from the fact that their mom had done this. And without going too much into my personal and family history, I hope I hope that those sort of things don't really make psychopaths, because um it just didn't seem enough to turn these two girls into complete freaking psychopaths. And like Haley is clearly a psychopath. Like Haley is gonna kill people and she don't care. Meg is like, she's like, I don't have feelings, I don't have emotions, I'm not gonna let people get in my way. Mm, but I've got morals. And like Haley at the end does save her sister rather than like save the bad guy who's been doing these experiments and run off with him and his money. But yeah, I didn't think the end worked for me, and the label of psychopath and just all the stuff. And then we learned that the doctor who'd been doing these experiments, he was doing it because he was a psychopath and he didn't want people to label him. And it was just a very weird situation. So, yeah, I don't like the person in disguise. I don't necessarily mind a secret identity or like things like that. It's not my favorite trope, but to have this girl be in disguise and hanging out with her sister this whole time, and her sister has no idea who she is. And I guess we're given a clue early on that I missed, that she called her the name that her sister used to call her. But yeah, it was just a weird, and it was a weird, for me, a weird ending. I didn't love it. I don't think it was bad. It just didn't really work for me, and it was kind of a meh experience after that. So, have you read The Clinic? Do you want to? Um, I do thank the publisher for sending this to me, and I appreciate them giving me the chance to read it as an advanced reader. I did have a fine time with it, even if in the end it wasn't my very favorite thing. All right, guys, this has been Jane. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.